The first principle is this. In everything that you do, to look at everything through the lens of the customer. Whether that's as a lender, whether it's as a manufacturer, whether it's as a community operator, to look at everything that happens in your operation through the lens of the customer. Because most organizations don't. They will say that they do, but they don't, and I can prove it. How many in the last few years you have purchased furniture that you had to have delivered to your house? Raise your hands if you bought furniture, had to have it delivered. Okay, then let me ask you this question. What were the guidelines that the furniture store gave you for the delivery of the furniture? What were the guidelines? Be there between 1 and 5, right? I had one guy say June. They told me to be there in June. But usually it's a 4-hour window or an 8-hour window, right, that they give you. So here's my question for you, and please everybody answer this. Whose convenience are they really concerned with? Theirs. And so to me, the better question is, whose lens are they looking through? Theirs. But you go on their website, you look at their marketing materials, they'll say, we're a customer-focused operation. You experience them, and they're not. The question that we need to constantly be asking ourselves is, whose lens are we using when we do what we do? Now, keep in mind, I recognize the challenges in your industry right now, and I understand that. But I want you to imagine today being in the airline industry. I mean, you can't pick up the paper without seeing another airline's in trouble. So contrast that example with the furniture with this organization right here, Southwest Airlines, which is not a perfect organization. There's no such thing. But, and some of you know this, Southwest recently posted their 33rd consecutive year of profitability. A couple of weeks ago in Fortune magazine, they were ranked as the 5th most respected company in the United States, an airline. The thing that I think they do better than anybody else is they understand the lens of their customer. And keep in mind, not everybody's the right customer for Southwest. Some people don't like the way they board the planes and all of that, and they're fine with that. But the ones that are, they understand the lens. The way I see it, just because I do fly on them quite a bit, is through the performance of their flight attendants. How many have flown on Southwest? At some point, you've flown. Okay. For the most part, I'm not saying every one of them, but for the most part, I think Southwest flight attendants are the best ones out there because they've taken those same boring safety spiels that most of us have heard hundreds of times. If I asked you to, how many of you could come up here right now, you could do an airline safety spiel? Because we've heard it so many, you can even get the hand motions down. And so here's the question. How many of us actually listen? Nobody. I mean, there's usually one person on the plane that pulls the card out and follows along. We laugh at them. But the rest of us, we tune it out because we've heard it so many times. Well, I was on a Southwest plane a while back, and the flight attendants have been great. But the one I remember is we were getting ready to land. And anytime a plane is landing, you can guarantee flight attendant is going to get on the microphone and say, when we pull up to the gate, be careful as you open the overhead bins. Items have a tendency to shift during flight. They all say it. I was on the Southwest plane. We were landing. Flight attendant gets on the microphone and said, when we pull up to the gate, be careful as you open the overhead bins. Items have a tendency to shift during flight. And as you know, shift happens. So we're all, what did she say? What did she? So we were hanging on every word. When the plane landed, and you know how they put on the reverse thrusters to slow the plane down, the co-pilot got on the microphone and went, whoa, big fellow, whoa, as we were slowing down. So now as we got off the plane, what were we all doing? We were laughing, right? And that's not usually what you're doing, right? It's usually, get out of my way. Now here's my business question for you. And please, again, everybody answer this. How much did that cost Southwest Airlines to do that? Zero. To me, that is the beauty of looking through the lens of the customer.